What is up? What is going on? My name is Arvind Ramakrishna. Welcome to Driven to Draw. And we have another question here from one of our friends. Her name is Marcy. And Marcy asked actually a pretty good question. It was a question about how to sort of apply techniques into other subjects, and that she's learned quite a bit with sketching cars and trucks, motorcycles, or what have you. And she wanted to understand what are the sort of techniques that one can learn to be able to branch out and to draw other things. So here's the question.
Hi, Arv. I've gotten a lot out of all of your tips for sketching cars and trucks, but now I really want to expand to drawing other kinds of things. What would you say are the 3 to 5 most important techniques that I could use from what you've been teaching that I could apply to other kinds of drawing? I'd be really grateful if you could answer this question, because you've made me a much better artist and I appreciate it, but I don't want to stop now. Thanks.
All right, this is a great question, Marcy. So she's asked 3 to 5 techniques that she could apply to drawing other subjects. And I don't know whether I can come up with 5, but let's see if I can come up with 3. If you want to draw, or if you want to be able to ideate and create, I think the first technique would be to nail down your fundamentals. And this is something that I've always honed in on in a lot of my posts, or even some of the earlier podcasts. If you listen to those with some of my friends that are in the industry, they often talk about how important it really is to go back and understand to be able to draw or to engage in the fundamentals of drawing. So what does that mean with engaging in fundamentals? Well, at the beginning of school, or design school, or any kind of art school, what they're going to be teaching you are a lot of basics. And that means basics in perspective drawing, and there's basics in color theory, basics in composition, basics in repetition, rhythm, or just basic, or I'm using basic a lot, but design guidelines. And the reason why all this is important is because as your skills start to progress and you nail down those fundamentals, then what the expectation is going to be is that you're going to be able to create and apply those skill sets on your own to create something new, which means creating out of your own imagination. And this is not just applicable to designers, but it's applicable to artists. Because artists themselves are problem solvers. They're almost like visual problem solvers. They tell a story, they paint pictures, and they're trying to capture an image or a slice of a moment in time that is compelling and engaging, emotional. And it's really difficult to be able to do all that stuff. I mean, they have to kind of combine everything that they've learned. Learning color theory, learning composition, learning how to communicate effective lighting. You look at Rembrandt's pictures, his paintings, and his paintings have this beautiful sense of light and illuminating the subject matter. So let's say, for example, and I don't know what are all the other things, Marcy, that you are interested in drawing, but let's just say, for example, that you like still life, or you like to paint fruit. That could be apples, oranges, pears, bananas, what have you. Doesn't matter. Learning the fundamentals, let's say on how to render a sphere, would be helpful in learning how to paint, let's say, a cherry, right? So that's something that you can kind of relate to, because both of the surfaces or both of the shapes or geometric forms are kind of similar, wouldn't you say? So if you learn how to take a ping pong ball, let's say, for example, and learn how to light that, what you'll end up getting is that you'll probably get like a matte surface. You won't get something that's shiny, but at least when you start to look at cast shadows and lighting and where the projection of the lighting is on the particular object, in case the ping pong ball, you'll understand how the light is distributed around the object and at what point some of the shading or the shadows start to occur. And that particular idea, or understanding those key principles, is going to help you with drawing or painting things like fruit or other round objects that you can relate to. So once you learn some of those basics, you have to be able to, you can take that and essentially apply that to other techniques pretty easily, actually. So to reiterate, fundamentals are key. The second technique is to build up your visual vocabulary. So what does that mean? Well, building up your visual vocabulary is simply trying to draw as many different kinds of objects as much as you can. That means on one particular day, you may decide to draw a cherry, and that could be with pencil, or you can decide to use acrylic paints. You can use watercolor, it doesn't matter. But the main thing is that you want to build up your visual vocabulary by taking pictures, taking reference photographs, and studying them. That means you have to break them down. You got to take the object, you have to kind of deconstruct it. And then once you've deconstructed the object and understand the fundamentals of that object, that means where is the light source coming from? What is the base color that you're working with? And then where are the shadows occurring? And of course, there's a lot of other techniques to be able to learn all those facets. But the general idea is to kind of draw what you see and to be able to solidify your observational skills. And that is really awesome, because by solidifying your observational skills, what you're essentially doing is training your brain to observe details. It's sort of like the byproduct of drawing, and that's something that I'm really trying to push for people, that there are side and fringe benefits to be able to draw. So to recap, like I said, some of those benefits are to, one, to sharpen your ability to observe details, and two, it's also helpful in memorizing, or at least committing to your long-term memory, or at least enhancing your long-term memory. Now, the third technique, other than just looking at photo references and having a nice active library of photo references, is to really just get out there and draw, is to grab a sketchbook and just go out to the location or to any location and just draw what's around you. There is such an immense pleasure in being able to interact with the scenery, or just to be outside on a warm day and the sun is shining and it makes you feel real good. And it's quite liberating, actually, to do that, to be able to get your sketchbook and your watercolors and just start to paint on location. And that'll actually give you a lot more ideas. I mean, you have the whole world as your palette to kind of choose from and to observe, and you can just take any object that you see out there and then just try to replicate what you see. So that just gives you another component instead of being in your home. And if you want to be able to generate ideas and to look at other subjects, going outside with your sketchbook, your watercolor sketchbook, or anything, or just even your pencil, if you want to just sketch in pencil, get out there and just draw and observe life around you. It's such a wonderful feeling, and sometimes it's just an excellent reminder of how wonderful it is to be alive sometimes. And that's what drawing does too. It just kind of reminds you how wonderful life can really be. There is value to being away from your computer. There is value to just experiencing life. It takes away your stress. It just allows you to just be in a different world, or to create your own world. And there's value to that. There's real value to that. It's a great way to kind of not look at negative news and just trying to be positive, and that's what drawing does for you. So I hope that helps. Marcy, it's an excellent question. So just to recap for you, the 3 tips that I gave you today was to, 1, sharpen your fundamentals and make sure that you're constantly practicing them. The second thing was to build your visual vocabulary. That means just take a lot of reference photographs and just try to replicate the photos. And then the third tip was to get out there and just experience the world. Take your sketchbook out there and just draw. You'll get a lot of different ideas. You'll see a lot of different things. Travel, take your paints, take your sketchbook and just draw what you see what's around you, and you'll get a lot more ideas and possibly even find a new and different interest in subject matter. So if anyone else has questions that need to be answered, just go over to driventodraw.com and just shoot over to the Ask Arv section, record your question, and I will get to your question and answer it as soon as I can. So once again, thanks for listening. I believe in all of you. I know you guys can do all this stuff, and we'll see you next time on Driven to Draw. Have a good one.